I realised I was gay when I was about 20 years old.
As a kid, going through puberty and whatever, I've always been attracted to other guys. And all through my life, I've been attracted to other guys and like the look of them and whatever, but never done much about it until I was in my late 30s.
I wasn't the most masculine person. I was very athletic and good at everything, which I'm grateful at the time, top student, but there were a couple of people who would snigger or make snide remarks because they thought I had a feminine aspect to me, and I did.
I think it wasn't until when I was probably late high school when I started actually interacting with girls sexually, and then really kind of just, I personally felt that I always knew, and it was through my experiences with girls that I just kind of reinforced that. I was just kind of denying it all along.
I just found that there were 6 stages that people seemed to come through, which were stages of slowly coming to the point of accepting themselves fully. So the first stage is what I called identity confusion stage, which is starting off thinking that you're straight, or should be, right? Because, in our society, we don't start off telling people at the age of 2, you could be gay or lesbian. We assume they're straight. And we call this the heterosexual assumption. Everybody's assumed to be heterosexual until proven otherwise, which is a good way of hiding if you need to. So once somebody says there's something about my behaviour that could be called gay or lesbian, then they start to think about it. And sometimes people go, you know what, I don't want to know about that. Absolutely no way. And then they stop, and I call that foreclosure. They just foreclose on any further identity. But some people go on to the point where they say, well, you know what, I may be. And then in the next stage, called identity comparison, they go from saying I may be gay or lesbian to saying I probably am. Now, that's an interesting stage, because if you say to yourself, I may be gay, what do? You suddenly go, wow, that means I'm different from my friends, my family. I'm not going to fit what my parents thought was that I was going to get married. So you have a real sense of being different, okay, a sense of alienation. And some people get through that happily and others don't. They struggle with it.
I had no idea where to start, how to explore this, anything like that at all. So up till now, I've just gone with what's the norm, and the norm is heterosexuality. That's the majority vote. So I've been going with that.
When I was in the church, I had to be discreet. They would not have accepted it in the Baptist church, no way. They taught against it.
I was a teacher in the country for many, many years, and always very, very scared. I'd come from a conservative background, very, very scared of being found out.
That's something that I think you go through when you have to hide your sexuality for so long. It's something that you know, there's this big secret weighing on your shoulders for so long that you then, it becomes part of your everyday life to hide it, and it does become a very depressing thing, because you think, how will I be accepted? What will my life be? Because, in education and, representation, you never see a happy gay character. You only see the tragic ones. But that is changing.
I'm not what you'd call golden. I didn't start out with guys. I dated girls. I had about 3 girl relationships prior to ever getting with any guys.
My mother understood that I was gay before I did, I believe, when I think back. My father, a very lovely man, never worried him too much. And he never discussed it until I met somebody, and then everybody had to face it.
I had been in a new relationship for about 2 months and thought it was time that my family knew what I was doing and who I was seeing and who this new person was in my life. I am extremely close to one of my sisters, and I went to tell her. She invited me down for dinner. She was going to have a roast, and she was organising this roast on one of these Weber barbecues that you had to light and have it burning previous. And I sat down there and I was sweating on this conversation. And I just said to her that I needed to tell her something really important, and could we just go for a walk or go to the beach? And she was fussing around organising this Weber barbecue to get going, and it wouldn't start. And in the end I said, for goodness sake, I need to talk to you. So she panicked, and we went down the beach, and I sat down on the sand and I burst into tears and said, I basically blurted it out, I'm gay. And she said, oh, thank God for that. She said, I thought you had cancer.
When I'm dealing with people who are closeted or in the closet, or who are not yet comfortable or confident in talking about their sexuality in a really open way, it's really important to give them all the tools and the information for them to make decisions that they need to make about the process of coming out, if that's what they want to do. And for some people, it's not possible to actually come out the way that I'm out, like 100% out into the community, and it's just not, and it may never be the right thing for them. And I would never advise a person on how to deal with or how to come out in terms of their sexuality. It really has to be a very personal journey, and it needs to be something that is the right thing for that person in their life, and they need to be at a stage where they feel that they're supported and they're comfortable and confident within their own skin to be able to come out and talk about their sexuality, and to feel that it's okay to do that. And so really, when I'm dealing with people who are discreet around their sexuality, it's really just about giving them support and information and education about being true to themselves, but doing it at a pace that's right for them.
I've grown up in Midland and towards the hills, where it's all fast cars and beer, and it's not really a place that you'd want to grow up if you're into any sort of culture, or trying to take elegance in how you dress or your fashion sense, or if you like guys or anything like that. It's not commonly accepted. So you've got to kind of burrow under and make your own friends in that sort of degree. And I haven't entertained that until probably about a year ago, and I'm 25 now. So that's a long time to try and ignore it.
You met one and you're introduced socially to the small social group in Perth. It wasn't like Sydney or a big city, and you had your small social group. And I lived with somebody for 7 years, and we had our own social group. And we went out, but we didn't need to look for anything really, because it just was there. But from one, then that spread socially, and that was quite wonderful. And even nowadays, people have social groups where they're closer to some people than others in those groups.
There was another group called the Five and Dine, and that was the very first contact that I'd met, where you would put your name down and become a member. They organised people of similar interests, and 5 people would go to dinner with a coordinator. And if people were interested in each other, swapping phone numbers, you weren't allowed to do it on the night. You had to give it to the coordinator and then phone the next week, and the coordinator would then ring around and say, are you happy that this person has your phone number? I was teaching in a very small country town. I came down and I met with the other people in a dinner group. Went back and freaked out. I thought, oh my God, I'm so scared, what have I done? Who's going to find out? And then when the coordinator rang me the next day and said, somebody wants to contact you, you're happy to give your phone number, I said, no way, and I never went back again.
Apart from offering the space, we run like movie nights and stuff, so people can come into this room, munch on food and talk to people and stuff. Like, we don't just watch movies, people end up kind of talking about queer things, and so when they talk, they start to feel more comfortable around other people and with themselves as well.
Music's a great therapy, and I'm grateful that I am a musician, so that is a way of escaping. Play the piano for hours. I studied at UWA music. That was a superb opportunity that my parents gave me. Then I played in church, the electronic organ. That was another escape. But I got out of the church because I didn't want to have a scandal when they perhaps discovered, oh, he's homosexual.
If I wore this gay stereotype, all the things I like if they were left of centre of a heterosexual lifestyle, they get discounted simply because I'm gay. So if I get into jazz music and I like fine wine, or if I like fashion shows or culture, things like hand-drawn art or oil paintings, or I don't know, some sort of stereotypical gay interest, if I were to adopt any of that and then identify as gay, it's instantly discounted. They go, oh, because you're gay. Huh, okay. You lose that unique sense of identity within yourself because of the stereotype.
Unfortunately, we're still in a society, and I think it depends on where in the world you are, that sometimes inhibits the ability to be open about one's sexuality. And so through the sense of familial pressure and religious pressure, some people will make a decision never to come out as being gay, and they will choose to live a heterosexual existence.
I cannot be free in my job. To be the person I am, I've got to be very, very careful because I'm dealing with people of different religious backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. I don't want to offend anybody by saying who I am. I teach kids and I teach sexuality in the school that I'm in at times. So once again, I'm very guarded and discreet on who I am.
I am discreet with some people about being gay, but others it doesn't matter, and you evaluate that as you go along, and if you need to be discreet, you are. Don't broadcast it from the rooftops, but others are accepting, and you know that they will be in most cases, so there's no need to lie. Just be honest, true to yourself.
For me, I haven't really seen a necessity to draw it out to everybody else, and I think it wasn't until I contacted WAC that I discovered I discovered the term of what I'm feeling, which is internalised homophobia. So I'm homophobic of myself, which is absolutely fascinating. I'm always, prior to joining up with WAC, and I'm still working through it now, always conscious of how I was being perceived by others. Would they identify me? Would I get outed? And I've been very defensive about it.
Being homosexual is really difficult. It's a really difficult lifestyle. Nobody would choose it, and that's when they say it's a choice. Nobody would choose to live this way.